We're flowing.
We're flowing. We're going to roll right into it.
So, you said you had to light a candle. Are the candles behind you real, or are they the fakies?
Those are fake because
Okay.
I realized as I was running around the house, I don't think I have any more real candles left. I have kind of a habit of starting my day lighting a candle on my desk, and I
And
believe
leaving
I
it?
have gone through all of my candles.
Sounds like a fire hazard to me. Because I was going to say that plant is dangerously close to the fake candle if it was
No,
real.
real plants, fake
Yeah.
candles.
All right, good.
But it was like a plan B. And I was like, well, I still want to have the feeling of a candle. And I thought,
Okay.
let me put those behind me. I'm kind of setting the environment for myself, setting myself up for success.
Is that because that's your identity?
No, it's because I'm in a fucking whirlwind of life right now, and I'm trying to keep some peace and calm.
It really is funny that we're both in this season of transition and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Exactly at the same time.
And I'm conscious of how I am showing up on my coaching calls, how I'm showing up here on the podcast for you. So it's these little things, these little rituals, these little resets
Yeah.
that become our responsibility so that we can show up the best way possible. So for me, it was the candles. What do you do for you? You have any little ritual or any reset?
Not really during the day. No, I think I'm the beginning of the day is where I really set my intentions for the day, meditating, reading the Bible, and then I've got out of the habit of journaling again. I felt like I was just writing the same things. I think I
Mhm.
need different prompts for
Mm,
that. I do all of that before coffee too.
yeah.
So, I've got to make sure the brain's in the gear. Yeah, I don't really do anything during the day to reset. Sometimes I'll do some of the the tapping stuff I got
Hmm.
from you and deep breathing and things like that. But I'm listening to this great book, Dave Asprey um wrote, it just came out, heavily meditated. He's basically he has this
Love that name.
was it 40, I think it's something 40 days or 40 years or 40 days of Zen. He's got this company out in California. You go there for like 4 days, it's like 20 grand.
Mm.
They, stick electrodes on your head and you basically like reset your nervous system. You get over all the trauma, and they're finding a lot of like stuff from, you when you were bullied the one time when you were 7,
Hmm.
that's caused you to have all of this stuff you're holding on to now, and they help you reset with that. So the book is basically his way of giving you all of that for me, it's free. It's part of my Spotify subscription.
Yeah.
So I really recommend people listen to that. But a lot of the things he talks about in there kind of already do and kind of already live. And, I think especially with the topic we're talking about today, this is really where our worlds kind of combine and where we're really powerful, I think,
Yeah.
helping people with this kind of topic without giving away what our future plans are.
The topic is, like you said, it's letting go and reclaiming our identity. And it might even just be claiming our identity, because for a lot of people, they're not even reclaiming something that they're necessarily were aware of. It may have been by default before, but this letting go. And every time I talk about letting go, I think of Louise Hay's books, like The Language of Letting Go, and they're kind of daily affirmations about letting go. And I was just talking to, I was doing a disc validation with a client, and it was a self discovery, that it was not about her learning something new. It was actually about her letting go of where she's stopping herself, something that she's taught herself over time.
Yeah.
And she kept thinking, I have to learn more. I have to learn more. I have to get this skill. And I'm like, I had a couple questions for her. I'm like, the skill's already within you. Are you just telling yourself don't talk or stop? And she's like, yeah, that's like my internal dialogue. So this letting go is about, life is about unlearning as much as it is about learning. And letting go where we are holding on to things so tightly, things that have served us before, things that have gotten us to where we are now, helped us survive. It can be really challenging to let go of that because it's kind of letting go of this thing that's kept us safe, but it is no longer serving us. So that's the biggest, when you can get the ahas about what am I holding on to, identity, responses, what am I holding on to that maybe once served me but is no longer serving me.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I think, is you get this. It's a collective view. Um, this kind of there's a misalignment or
Mm.
uh, I had the word in my head while you were talking and I lost it. But just, we think that, or we hold on to something thinking that this is who I am. My example is, I was the music guy for forever. Actually,
Mhm.
before that, growing up as a kid, I was the soccer guy. I'd meet kids in other towns. They'd be like, "Oh, you the kid? I've heard about you." Then I was the music guy, and then it was with the fitness guy, and then I tried to be the real estate guy, and I've had to shed my skin a number of times, and it was quite difficult holding on. I have a hard time with that. Um, but in the end, I realized, no, actually, these are all just vehicles. They're not who I am. They're just ways of me showing who I am, and that showing who I am, that person is someone who wants to help people. I want to have a positive impact on people.
Yeah.
Even playing soccer as a kid, I loved, number one, doing well for the team because I know the enjoyment and joy it brought everybody else on the team when we won, and we won a lot. And number two, I really enjoyed playing in front of people and
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah.
And the music's obviously helping people through hard times is really the one that I point to there, and so on and so on. And I think sometimes we get lost in that and think that we are, what we're doing at that time, when in
Yeah.
actually that's just the vehicle that we're using to try and show who we are, but we get lost in there.
Yeah. Well, and you've lived that outwardly, right? Like you've realized, okay, this vehicle is not my vehicle anymore, and you've gone to the next vehicle. So that's one way of it showing up. And then you have other people that they never go to the other vehicle. They just quietly suffer,
Right.
in the vehicle. And I think that's where this permission to pivot, permission to reprioritize. And we've talked about this before, where you are making decisions and commitments based off of the information that you have, and you mean those commitments, you intend to fulfill them, and then new information comes in, and sometimes it means like, whoa, this one thing that was a top priority, it now no longer is, and there's a million examples. We have to give ourselves permission to say, I am no longer committed to this. Now I am committed to this, and that's okay. But we've been told, like, you keep your commitments, your word is your bond. And yes, those are all true. However, if it means you are just staying stuck in something that is not serving you in this one life that you get, like you're not able to show up as yourself or explore or be joyous, or really make the impact that you want to, then you have to have permission to let go of that.
Yeah, and I think one big thing people do is we kind of turn our antennas off. We
Mm,
stop tuning into
mm,
the universe. We miss I say all the time, we miss so many opportunities. And, you know, I just want for people what I experience now when I can just intuitively feel the direction I should be going in. I know you have the same thing.
yeah.
And it's just because you clear out all the noise, you focus on the signal, and you just tune in to the universe and what's really meant to be absorbed. And what is the noise? It's getting all upset about politics. It's getting all upset about your sports team losing. And I love the escapism of sports, but if my team loses, I'm over it within a few hours, sometimes a few minutes. Right? Like we get so obsessed with all of this like cultural stuff that just means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it creates so much noise that we can't hear the signal.
The noise is real. And, as we continue to grow into more and more tech and AI, and not good or bad, just is, you and I will often talk about this, especially when we're having shifts. The difference between resistance and like misalignment it's a really good thing to check in. Doing what you want to do, doing what you want to pursue doesn't mean that it doesn't come without challenges. Like there is resistance. To me, resistance is just the check of like, do you really want this?
Yeah.
Whereas full misalignment, like if you're waking up and you aren't energized, and listen, I don't mean you got to jump out of bed with rainbows coming out of your rear ends, but when you wake up and you feel excited for the day and good for even if there's really hard work ahead of you. And when you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I gotta go through the motions again today. That's the difference. One's resistance, one's misalignment. And if we have too much noise, like you just said, it's really hard to even recognize the cues, let alone act on them because you're just exhausted. You're literally just
Yeah.
surviving, doing what you can to survive through the day. And that isn't to me, I believe you agree with this. We are not meant to live our lives that way. It
No.
just can't be.
No, exactly. And I always think of there's a teacher at my where my boys go to school. Um, Really nice guy. I chat to him a lot. We've got a lot of shared interests, and he, teacher by day, he plays music, makes music, and is often
Mhm.
performing at school things, and that kind of stuff. Coaches the high school soccer team, so he gets that kind of thing. I'm just like, wow, like what? I don't know him personally. Like I said, we chat and every now and again, whatever. But like, I don't know if he's happy.
Mm,
But to me, I'm just like, wow, what a great life he's created for himself.
yeah.
Like, he gets to do something meaningful during the day and then really do his passions outside of that. And oftentimes he's able to bring that together. Um, and, talking about transition times and we're kind of jumping all over, we do actually have a set kind of
I'm following it.
program for this, but I'll try to stick to it. But talking about transitions and where you and I are right now, I think, and it's a regret I have with some of the choices I've made,
Mm,
where you kind of trap yourself into not being able to make a move when you want to, or when you're being called to, right? Like
mm,
maybe we got a car payment that was too much, or
mhm,
we got a house that maybe was a bit too much than we needed, and now our mortgage is a bit too high. And
mm.
I'm not saying those are the mistakes I've made, but I'm just saying in general, these are the kind of common mistakes people make. And now they're like, oh fuck, well now I can't quit my job because I've got all these bills to pay,
Yeah.
but I'm miserable doing it,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot longer. And I think people get discouraged and don't see it out. What might take a few years to build a side hustle and transition over, people just stop because they don't have that instant gratification. Of course, they're exhausted from working full time.
Or they think that there's no plan C, right? Often people will be like, if I'm either going to be miserable and just making money, or I'm going to throw that all to the wind and I'm just going to focus on what I'm passionate about and do that. And that's the only two options, which the truth is that you can make money by doing something that's fine for you, right? You're cool to get up and do it every day. And then make sure that you have the hobbies and the passions and you're actually funding a life that you want to live. It's okay to fund it through something as long as it's within your core values. Maybe it's
Yeah,
not your passion, but as long as you're living your passions in other things, that's okay too. Not everyone gets to just fund their life just through their straight passion. And that's okay. Asking yourself, where am I doing things that I just should do? Someone handed this to me some point in my time, or I said I should do this, versus where am I doing this because I want to do it? Am I doing this because, it fuels me, or am I just doing it because I should do it? Like, don't should all over yourself.
yeah. Do you say should or shit?
Should. Don't
Sound
should.
like don't shit. Definitely don't shit on yourself
Don't
because
should all over yourself.
that's a bit of a messy job.
And write down like where are all your shoulds. I should do
Yeah,
this. Or how many times do people tell you should do this? You should do this. You shouldn't do that. Like
yeah,
where are you holding on to things that someone else told you you should or shouldn't do that actually was never part of you to begin with? And now you've made it part of your identity, but it's really not.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
and
permission granted to change it.
just yeah, think about what are you willing to sacrifice and not worrying about what the picture of that looks like, right? Like maybe you're not going to go on a vacation for a few years and maybe that's not normal for your social circle, because everybody else is affluent and doing that, but you have purpose in what you're doing and you've got to sacrifice that to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are really, really paralyzed by that.
Mm,
And it really distorts how they view themselves and who they think they are. And that just over time just keeps compounding. It's very hard to break out of that.
yeah. So you might have to say no to some things for yourself, right?
Yeah,
Like you just said no vacation. But also you might just have to say no, period, to some
yeah,
people, right? You're telling me I should do this and I'm saying no. This is crossing my boundary. I do not want to do that.
yeah.
And we will say no is a complete sentence. I know I've been really guilty of wanting to justify why it's a no. I learned this in real estate, when I decided I'm going to run it like a business and actually have a life so that I don't burn out and I'm laid out in bed without a voice because I've got a throat infection because I'm just going because my identity was make my clients really happy and make a lot of money. And to me, that was how I was going to prove that I was successful. Um, just totally lost my train of thought.
And it's funny because your picture froze at the same moment. So it's like a glitch in the matrix there.
It was just about saying no, but when we say no, I just felt the need to justify why. Oh, I know why. Because I would say, if like say I had a hair appointment, but I got a client that called me and they wanted to go see a house. And they asked for the one time that I'm going to the hair appointment. Treat it like a business me was say no to my hair appointment, right? And go take care of the customer. When the truth was, my customer was fine if I went to my hair appointment and then did the showing afterwards. And then what I learned is I don't have to tell them that it's a hair appointment for me. I just say, I'm so sorry, I'm already booked at 3 o'clock. How's 1 o'clock? How's 4 o'clock? 99% of the time, people were totally fine with it.
Yeah. Now I will caveat that because I
Yes.
was the same way with when you're in a client service business,
Mm-hmm.
there is it's very difficult with that kind of thing. I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like you do have to build up capital with people.
Yes.
Um, Real estate's a little different because you don't have that long-term relationship where you're consistently working with people unless they're investing in something.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would take clients stupid early and stupid late, and then
Yeah.
I'd have these huge gaps in my day where I was like exhausted, stuck at the gym. It wasn't worth going back and forth from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to start saying, no, this is my blocks. This is
Yeah.
where I'm available. And even to
Or
this
at least
day, I
try.
still, yeah. But you do have to build up some capital because there is a bit of give and take. Because sometimes you're going to need to move something for your own, your life. And if you've been really accommodating for people, then yeah, they'll uh they'll make that adjustment for you too. So there's a bit of give and take with that. But yeah, saying no is so powerful, and I keep going back to that Dr. Hardy thing of just like, what are you saying no to that is raising your floor?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you say yes to something, you are typically saying no to something else, right?
Yeah,
So really like asking, okay, when I'm saying yes to this person, what am I saying no to? Am I saying no to myself? Am I saying no to something that was important to me?
yeah,
Um, it's just these little exercises that we can do of, why am I saying yes? Or why am I saying yes to this person, but no to myself? Um, what beliefs am I holding on to, right? Like honor them. Hey, this belief served me really well for X period of time. There's a story about, I'm going to butcher it, but a monk that's going through the forest and he's maneuvering and going and he comes to a river and it's too wide to cross just by stepping into it. It's too dangerous. So he realizes he can build a raft because he's in this forest of trees. So he builds a raft and he gets across and that raft really saved him. So he takes the raft, he thinks I need this raft, and he puts the raft on his back, and now before where he was maneuvering through the forest and able to get through the trees really easily. Now this raft is on his back and it's cumbersome and he's not really able to walk the line that he wanted to walk and it's really slowing him down. But he's fearful of letting go of it because what if another river comes up? So if we can realize like this helped me, but now it's slowing me down and it's no longer serving me. And guess what? If I need it again, I know how I built it the first time. I can build it again a second time.
Yeah.
So journaling, meditation, conversations with people that you really know, trust, and that care about you, asking them like, hey, is there anything that you do that I do that seems like it's holding me back? Or do you hear me say something all of the time? Like I want to accomplish something, but then I make an excuse about it. Those are very powerful conversations. They can be very challenging conversations. And as a matter of fact, I'm in a upset right now over a conversation like that.
Hmm.
Um, it's very hard for me to not coach, even though I try to stay out of it. There's part of me where coaching mode turns on and I'll ask for permission. But there's also part of me that this is just so internalized in how I ask questions and where I see people struggling. And I'm aware when someone's like, don't coach me. Well, I'm not coaching you. I'm just being a friend in my mind. So, or I'm just being a person that cares about you. So it's an interesting thing. I think about therapists must have an issue with that. How do you not like really help someone to the best of your ability when you have the tools? And the bottom line is if they don't ask for it, we have to be cautious about where we're giving it.
Yeah, but it's all you're doing is just making them more self-aware of themselves, right? Like, I don't think it's your style of coaching at all to tell someone what they think or feel. And it's the same with therapy. It's really
Yeah.
helping you get to where you know they need to be. And I do it with friends I'm giving advice to. My advice is just always asking them questions. I'm never telling them, I'm like, well, how do you feel if this situation happened versus how it is now?
Yeah.
And it should never be telling someone, because I fucking hate people like that who tell you what, no, that's not what I should do. That's what you want me to do because that's what you
Yeah.
would do. But
Yeah.
I'm not you.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and I think if people get upset about that or there's resistance to it, it's because it's uncomfortable for them to
Yeah.
really internalize who they are and in some cases who they've become
Yeah.
because they know deep down that they resent themselves for getting into a situation that you're just helping reflect with them.
Yeah. It's a tough position. It's a tough space to hold.
Yeah.
Um, so I think maybe recognizing that if you're going to go there, that you might get met with something that you're not expecting. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go there, but that's going way off topic. Um, let's get back onto
Yeah.
topic.
By the way, I have no idea what you're referencing there. So
I
if
know.
whoever that conversation is with is listening, I have no idea. So not to get you into any more trouble or anything.
No, listen, I get myself in enough trouble. You know what that comes down to? It's it's being heard and being understood. And it can be very challenging. And I think it's very common in relationships where two people that have the same desired outcome but don't feel heard and they feel misunderstood. It can become a cycle of trying to feel understood. And sometimes you're just not going to be understood. So, you're the only one in your own brain. And I think that it's okay to acknowledge, hey, I hear you, I don't understand it, but we can still move forward. I don't know that there's always a solution to force someone to understand your perspective.
Yeah. And I see this a lot in the health space, right? Because and I'm an FDN now.
Hmm.
You know, officially a functional health practitioner, and there
Okay.
are a lot of people in my life that I know could really benefit from my services, right?
Mhm.
I'm not pushing it on anybody. Whenever someone feels like they're ready, they're ready. But unfortunately, people wait until things are really, really bad to do
Mm.
anything about it. And my case, which I've talked about here before, like I don't really present with any bad health symptoms. I feel fucking great. I've got great energy. I go all day. And then I took some labs and realized, oh shit, I've got a tsunami of health problems coming. My gut's a mess.
Yeah.
My body's able to keep up with it right now, but eventually it won't be.
Yeah.
And it's whether it's your health or whether it's lifestyle choices you're making or anything you're dealing with, like don't wait for it to get really, really bad for you to have to do something about it.
Right. But you have to be willing to have a reality check, like a real reality check.
Yeah,
And sometimes those come from challenging and fierce conversations. Sometimes those come from like journaling and cutting out all the bullshit that we tell ourselves and just getting really real. And sometimes we get a gift of something like what you do, where I don't know what's happening in my blood. I don't know what's happening. I know how I feel, but where I can go and I can get testing done and then I don't have to guess. Like the answers are going to come back to me. Now what I do with that information and what someone like you would tell me to do with that information based on your current knowledge, that's going to be different, but you've got to be willing to get the reality check, and then you have to figure out how do I get the reality check. And often it's not something that we can do alone, because we've gotten really good at telling ourselves like, oh yeah, we're good, we're we're
yeah,
at X, Y, and Z. And it might be even something as silly as doing a life wheel assessment like we talked about last time.
yeah,
Just really looking at where you are, and why do you give it a certain number? What makes this category of your life a 5, a 6, a 7, a 10, a 0? And what would need to be happening in order to move it up 2 points? What would need to be in your life? How would you need to feel? Who would need to be around you? How would you need to be thinking about yourself? What stories would you be telling yourself when you're at that? And that takes work, really, with someone else to
yeah.
do that.
It does. But I would also say don't be dependent on someone else to do
Mm,
the work for you. It's
mm,
like I really believe in coaching and therapy. Having someone to guide you is so important. So yes, don't do it alone from that perspective, but also
yeah,
don't think that they're gonna have all the answers for you, and then you just have to sit back and wait for them to turn the light bulb on.
yeah.
It takes a lot of work. It really
That's
does.
that's RO, radical ownership.
Yeah, yeah,
So, what are you holding on to that's no longer serving you? You can journal, you can meditate, you can talk with people that you know, like, and trust. You could talk with people that you don't know, like, and trust. You never know what you're going to get. And identify some areas where maybe it's time to let go,
yeah,
and some areas where letting go doesn't mean not having control. It doesn't mean not honoring what that thing was that you're letting go of. It doesn't mean forgetting about it. It just means clearing out as much noise as possible, giving yourself permission to pivot where needed, be able to check in where it's resistance, which is very normal and healthy, versus like a soul misalignment, which is
yeah,
life draining and suffering. Again, like our last episode, moving from struggling to suffering, or from suffering to struggle, because struggle is really a gift. A lot of people are like, well, struggle and suffering, like those are two bad things. Like, no, suffering sucks. Struggle's the gift. And
yeah.
that's where we get to come through a beautiful point.
One exercise I really like is, take some time and like write down what if people like people close to me were asked
Mm,
who is Tara,
mm,
right? And then write that down and then think about, all right, what do I want my obituary to say? And are these two the
mm.
same people?
Yeah.
Because it's like I can think of people, I'm like, I don't really know what I'd say about them. Like, yeah, they're a parent, they're an attorney, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of like, I think of, have attorney in my head. I'm thinking of one friend of mine is an attorney. It's like gives his all to the community, worked on the council, is always volunteering for his daughter's swim team. Like, that guy has purpose
Yeah.
and a mission, and you know, I love that for him. Unfortunately, a lot of people just it's like they go to work, come home, stick the TV on, put their feet up,
Right.
get through a 6-pack. Like, is that who you want to be?
No. Okay, so that exercise is, what would other people, or even ask people how they would describe you, and then write your obituary of what you would want people to say about you.
Yeah. What would you want your obituary to say?
Okay. Not even what would you want, like what do you want
Yeah.
your
And
obituary to
often,
say
even
about you?
doing that, right? Like, I'm thinking of mine. I would first, great husband, great father.
Yeah.
Father first.
We did talk about this off camera last week. I won't say what we said, if you
And
remember.
yeah, but that was on my wake. And my opener is like, all right, well, am I doing that? And like change people's lives.
Yeah.
Okay, well, did I do that? Am I doing that now?
Yeah.
If I'm not, all right, what do I need so I can do that?
Yep. Yep. Love it. What do you have? What do you have? It's already all within you. So what do you need to learn more of? What do you need to unlearn? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to celebrate more? What do you need to lean into?
And I
Who do you need to
think
have around you?
always coming back to gratitude and
Mhm.
ownership. Like, when you truly live in gratitude, like,
Mhm.
the amount of times I just look at the sky and I'm like, man, what a fucking beautiful place this is. Like, I get to experience this.
Yeah.
You're able to let go of stuff because you realize it's not important anymore.
Yeah. And if you can do that without having to have some real severe traumas that totally shift how you look at the world, like take it.
Yeah.
Take it. Let the universe, God, let them know, like, I get it. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to live my life this way. I don't need a life shattering, earth changing thing for
Yeah.
me to become grateful. Um, it's a challenge. And again,
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Yeah, and I know we're both sitting here saying all this stuff, but it's a lot of work, and
Mhm.
we've both done the work. We both continue to do the work,
I
and
think we'll
as
always do the
always,
work. Yeah.
we're not sitting here from preaching from a throne that's elevated from you guys. We're right in the pulpit with you. We're doing this with you. So it's just, hopefully someone hears this today and realizes, oh man, I gotta shape up. This isn't the direction I want my life to be in.
Yeah, and the people around you, especially your children, like one of the biggest gifts we can give our children is to live in gratitude and honor how they're feeling. Like, it's okay. I understand you're angry right now. Like, that's okay. You're allowed to be
Yeah.
angry. But, what are you grateful for? And maybe you don't say that to the 13-year-old. I'm not grateful for anything. And don't let them off the hook too easy. But we can teach our children how to live in gratitude, and that comes from practicing it when things are light and you create that highway of gratitude. It's much
Yeah.
easier to get on it when things are dark if you've got those neural pathways already set. And that's
Yeah.
science. That's science.
Speaking of
That's
which,
science.
I had a great conversation with someone at FDN yesterday who I'm trying to get on the podcast. She's too
Mhm.
busy right now, but maybe in the fall. We had a great conversation about neuroscience and the difference between men and women,
Mm,
which I think is a whole other episode we should talk about, because I think that's one of
do
the
it.
great things about you and I is we bring the feminine, the masculine energy together. And I think, unfortunately, because of society, we've tried to make them the same, and they're not the same.
Not the same. But that's so dishonoring to
Yeah.
me. It's so dishonoring of each energy, which, by the way, we both have both of that in us. We both have masculine and feminine in us. We all do. We're trying to make this
I mean,
equal.
literally, we've got the hormones for it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's such a disservice.
Yeah.
And my word was dishonoring. It's just, we have to
Yeah.
honor both, and we have to value where there's more masculine, honor that. We have to value where there's more feminine, and honor that. It is
Yeah.
not
Before we go down the rabbit hole on that, let's make this the next episode. I think that'd be a great conversation.
Love it. Done. Sorry.
Well, so you're going to be away this coming week. You guys won't know because we've pre-recorded this to make sure you
Right.
get your weekly dose of Alpha Flow.
Because we're committed.
But I hope you have a great time.
I think I'll be away. We don't know right now. Everything's up in the air. So my goal is that I am away next week, but who knows?
All right. Well,
All right.
I'll find out what that means when we press stop.
Until next time, friends. Bye for now.